Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good tonight. We're going to be hanging out for a couple of hours, probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I have a bunch of different topics that I want to discuss. Some that are brand new that I haven't gotten a chance to do videos on yet. Some that are like a couple days old to a week and a half old that I wasn't able to cover last week. As you guys know, I didn't do the live stream, the weekly discussion live stream last week. If you didn't see my video on, or if you didn't see my stream on, Saturday, I talked about it briefly, but last Monday, I had, like, a minor surgery done, and I ended up having complications, and all I really could do was the videos, like the daily videos, so I skipped most of the streams last week. I had streamed on Saturday. And, yeah, so our weekly streaming schedule is back to normal now. But hi, guys. Hope you're all doing good. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Doctor Who. I feel like I don't cover Doctor Who enough, mainly because while I like Doctor Who, I feel like Doctor Who at this point is kind of unsavable, which really sucks. You guys know I try to be positive about things as much as I can be and try to say, well, I'll give things a chance. Like, when it comes to new shows or movies, you know, even if I talk about them and I have a bad impression of them before they even come out, usually I'll try to watch them, I'll try to experience them to give them that fair chance. But with Doctor Who, I truly just feel like it's such a disaster at this point that I've lost so much interest. I have no interest in the new content coming out of the show. But we're going to talk a little bit about Doctor Who, primarily ratings, viewership drops, and of course, I'm going to reference back to a situation that was announced 2 months ago with Russell T Davies returning as the showrunner. We're going to talk about Eternals. I have talked about Eternals a couple of times now, and there's a little bit of an update. It's not like, oh my gosh, Eternals, it's failed, oh no. But we definitely saw a significant drop over week 1 and week 2 numbers in theaters, and I wanted to definitely talk about it quickly. I haven't really covered the Chris Pratt situation, but I think that it's as good a time as any to talk about it, mainly because Chris Pratt has been someone who has refused to bend the knee to cancel culture. He has become, like, uncancelable, which is kind of funny, because there's so many people that try to cancel him now. And so I wanted to talk about some of the social media backlash he's been facing over the past couple of weeks, probably like the past 2 weeks. And then the other two topics I'm going to talk about are definitely updates to situations I've discussed before. And the first one's going to be Kathleen Kennedy. Now, you guys know I do not like Kathleen Kennedy. I think that she has done a lot of bad for Star Wars. I will never be a fan of Kathleen Kennedy's. You couldn't pay me to be a fan of Kathleen Kennedy's. But apparently her contract with Lucasfilm has been renewed, reportedly, for 3 more years. Guys, listen. If there was bad news that I could get today, like, if there was, like, just the worst news that I could get today, this truly has to be some of it. Like, this is, I don't know what other bad news I could get today that would top this. Unless, like, I got news that I was gonna die in, like, 5 minutes. Because, I'm gonna be honest, this is a death. And this is a death of a beloved family member. Because Star Wars just is not the same anymore, and we're gonna see it buried into the ground even more than it already has been because of fucking Kathleen Kennedy. And I'm gonna talk about Cowboy Bebop. I've done a couple of videos on Cowboy Bebop. Yesterday, I talked about Cowboy Bebop and the Rotten Tomatoes scores from critics, but the score has gone down even more. And I thought that to wrap up the stream, read a couple of the new reviews, we talk about Cowboy Bebop. So welcome, everyone. We will get started with the topics in just a minute. Hope you're all doing okay. Streaming schedule, like I said, will be back to normal this week. I was thinking about streaming Halo Infinite because the multiplayer, they dropped the multiplayer yesterday. But I decided to just do the dedicated discussion stream, and on Thursday and over the weekend, I'm going to be playing some Halo Infinite. I've played a little bit already, because I am a little bit of a Halo whore. I love Halo, and I've been very excited for Halo Infinite. So, yeah. Probably Thursday and over the weekend, I'll be doing some Halo Infinite, and Battlefield 2042 launches. I'm gonna be honest, though, if it's a choice between Halo and Battlefield, I know which one I'm choosing, but I'm still gonna play some Battlefield. Maybe we'll do, like, Thursday Infinite, then Saturday Battlefield, and then, I don't know. We'll figure it out as time goes on. Elden Ring comes out in February, because it was supposed to be January, and then they delayed it till February. And they had just done, like, the closed network test, which apparently went really well. I didn't get in, so I don't know, but apparently it went really well. Star Wars TV shows are great, but for the movies, it's a hell no. I disagree. I think that some of the shows haven't been bad. Like, I don't think The Mandalorian was bad, but I don't think it was amazing. I don't think The Mandalorian was, like, the best content we get. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, and, oh, no. Listen, disclaimer, I love Star Wars. I would love for Star Wars to be amazing, fantastic, the content to be perfect. I would like to never have to negatively talk about Star Wars for the rest of my existence. And I'm sure this is gonna hashtag trigger some of you. But I feel like they're turning Star Wars into a CW. I feel like with the CW, it started strong. You had Arrow, Flash, then you had Supergirl, and now you have Batwoman. And I feel like they're starting to do that with Star Wars. You had The Mandalorian. Well, you had the Clone Wars, then you have Mandalorian. Now you've got Boba Fett, the nice guy, running Tatooine. You know, being a nice bounty hunter, even though he murders people. You've got Ahsoka. You've got all of these different shows. I truly feel like it's getting a little too CW for me. There's a couple too many shows announced. Maybe they'll be good. I'm really hoping that Kenobi's gonna be good. But honestly, do I expect it to be good? No. But am I hoping it'll be good? Yes. Because that's like the only project right now I'm super excited for. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Ahsoka. But I feel like I'm not as excited for it right now. Like, okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe it'll turn out to be good. But I kind of feel like we're getting to that point. Like, Mandalorian was pretty good, okay? Just like Arrow, that was pretty good the first 2 seasons. Flash, pretty good the first 2 seasons. And now we're starting to get to, like, the Supergirls, and then we're gonna hit the Batwomans. And we don't want to hit that point. They should just cancel Star Wars before we get to that point. Highest quantity of the lowest quality. Actually true. The last season of the Clone Wars was mostly great, aside from the middle. The Bad Batch and Ahsoka vs. Small episodes were amazing. I agree. I feel like the last season of the Clone Wars was pretty good. I felt like it did have moments that were like, okay, did we need that? Or that were like a little bit more bland. But I felt like for the most part, yeah, it was really, really solid. But again, CW, it started good, ended terribly. They're still going. I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to see. Only time will tell. To be fair, with all their current talents, it's the best they can do. So many good directors canceled for creative differences. Yeah. I mean, when you start firing everyone that's actually good, you end up with the people that are really mediocre and bad, and that's just, it happens. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens with Star Wars, but hearing that Kathleen Kennedy's contract was renewed is very disappointing. I'm not saying let's cancel her, and I'm not saying that, oh, she should be kicked out of the industry forever, because even though I don't think she's done good with Star Wars, I'm not sitting here saying that people shouldn't be allowed to get other jobs. But I was really hoping that she'd move away from Star Wars, because clearly she doesn't give an actual fuck about Star Wars and knows nothing about Star Wars. So I was kind of hoping that, like, maybe we'd get the ball rolling and she'd, I don't know, go somewhere else. Don't cancel her. Just move her to a division where we don't have to see her anymore or hear about her anymore. That's how I feel on it. I'm not for cancel culture, but she could go somewhere different. Oh, Bob Chapek did nothing wrong. Oh, Bob Chapek. Oh yeah, what a swell, great, grand old guy. 2022 could be a great year for Star Wars. I'm optimistic. For me, it's like, I want to be optimistic because I really want Star Wars content to be good because I really love Star Wars, right? But at the same time, I don't want to say I've given up hope with Star Wars, but at the same time, I just kind of feel like, what can they do to Star Wars right now that would make it absolutely amazing? And I can't think of a lot of things off the top of my head, because yeah, we could say, like, bring back all these actors, the original actors, and, you know, bring back all these different characters and stuff, but they could still do all of that and bring those characters back and butcher them. They could still ruin them. That's kind of my main worry with saying, oh, they could do this and that, because they could fuck it up still. They could. I don't want them to, but wouldn't be surprising. Not at all. Not one bit. Kathleen Kennedy believed to be the most powerful woman in Hollywood. I have never heard that, and I mean, I could maybe to a certain degree believe it because she's with Disney and Star Wars, but at the same time, like, I also don't believe it because she's only with Disney, and Disney's a powerhouse, don't get me wrong, but she's not at the top of the food chain there either. I mean, she could get canceled and get fired. Anyone could. Alright, guys, so let's start with the first topic of the night, which is going to be a relatively quick topic. Kind of updates to previous discussions we've had, because I've talked about Doctor Who a couple of times. Doctor Who isn't something I cover all that often, just because right now, as it stands, I have no interest in what they're doing with Doctor Who. I haven't been keeping up with the show. I haven't been keeping up with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. I have enjoyed Doctor Who in the past, but I'm just really disappointed with the direction they've taken Doctor Who in, so I haven't really been keeping up with it all that much. Of course, I'll read news here and there when something big happens, like when showrunners change, but this is a Cosmic Book News article, and I wanted to provide an update to some of the numbers for Doctor Who right now, because the ratings have nosedived, and Doctor Who is still consistently losing viewership. Now, when we're talking about Doctor Who, we're not talking about a failure like a Batwoman, okay? Because Batwoman can barely break, 300,000 viewers. Batwoman can barely break 400,000 viewers for premieres. And Doctor Who is very notable. I mean, a lot of people know Doctor Who. It's been around for a very long time now. And a lot of people love Doctor Who and continue to give it a chance. And, of course, it's always pushed. It's a show that's pushed into oblivion. So we're not talking about tiny numbers, but we are talking about significant losses. So it says the Doctor Who ratings continue to take a nosedive as the latest episode loses yet another 200,000 viewers. When it comes to Doctor Who, I feel like, even though it is very beloved and a lot of people have cherished Doctor Who over the years, I feel like we have definitely seen such a tank in the numbers and so many people be so disappointed with the content that's being created for it now that I'm honest, I don't want to say I'm surprised completely with the fact that it still almost has 4 million viewers, but I am a little surprised because I feel like I expect them to be a little lower. But again, like I said at the beginning, we're talking about Doctor Who. We're not talking about a tiny unknown show. We're not talking about a new show like a Batwoman. That's just a complete and utter joke. It says Once Upon Time saw 3.76 million viewers tune in on Sunday, which is down from the second episode's 3.96 million, and down from the first episode's 4.43 million. So, obviously, as seasons go on, numbers do start to fall. Numbers do decline. That happens with most shows, unless we're talking about, like, top tier, well, I don't know, do top tier and Game of Thrones go in the same sentence now? You know, let's not consider the last season of Game of Thrones, okay? We're not talking about top tier content in shows like Game of Thrones here that consistently hold viewers because people love the show so much. With most shows, except for the rare show like that, numbers drop. It's undeniable. It's like with cinema. Week by week, unless something blows up in popularity, numbers are going to drop. It's just the way that it goes. But Doctor Who consistently falls. The specials have fallen. The normal episodes have fallen. All of it is just going down in viewership week by week. So it says the number for the third episode is also close to the lowest rated Doctor Who episode, Season 12's Ascension of the Cybermen, with 3.71 million viewers. So, as it says, it's close to being the lowest rated Doctor Who episode, which I'm not saying. I am kind of saying that they deserve it, because the content's so fucking bad now. There are some people who are still part of Doctor Who that actually care about the franchise, that care about the stories, but, like, it's like a 90-10, because there's, like, only 10% of the people, if that actually fucking care. The rest of them don't care. As long as they're getting viewership, that's all that matters to them. But it says in total, since the debut of the Halloween Apocalypse, Doctor Who Season 13 has shed more than 500,000 viewers, with 670,000 fans having stopped watch the show. I don't want things to be bad. I say this all the time. I don't want content to come out and have it be awful. If I didn't have to talk about Doctor Who losing almost 700,000 viewers over the span of 3 episodes, I wouldn't. If I didn't have to talk about that, I wouldn't. If that situation didn't exist, it'd be whatever. I would love for Doctor Who to still be amazing. I would love for it to still be good, but that's not the situation we're in right now. Doctor Who is very, very disappointing. It's a mix between the people behind the scenes that are making creative decisions, and the executive producers, and the writers, and the actors who are on screen. But it says, I thought Once Upon a Time was okay, kind of a mess, and I didn't like how Chinball continues to retcon the Doctor's past to be woke, but Season 13 is better than the 2 previous seasons, and it's the last, so I can stick around for 3 more episodes. I haven't seen any of these new episodes because I've cared so little about the state of Doctor Who right now. Maybe in, 5 years, right? Maybe in 5 years, they'll decide to change what was changed now. Maybe they'll try to actually draw fans back in. Maybe the next Doctor will be someone amazing. I know there's been a lot of rumors and speculation that they're going to bring back previous Doctors. And listen, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not get that excited, okay? But honestly, do it. Because I'd watch literally anyone. I would watch anyone that isn't Jodie Whittaker. I've talked about it before. Jodie Whittaker in Broadchurch, she wasn't bad. She's a little bland, a little generic, a little boring, right? But for the most part, she played the depth of that character pretty well. But in this, it's just so bad. It really is. And as the article says, the person writing this article didn't think that this specific episode was that bad, but they did say it was kind of a mess. A lot of things didn't align. And again, I watched so what I do for Doctor Who now is I don't watch it, but I'll watch like teasers on YouTube. I'll watch like teasers on YouTube to get the general feeling of episodes, and then I'll look up a description of the episode, and that to me is good enough. Like, I get to know the plot in the general descriptions of what's going on without having to watch the absolute shit content that's coming out of this franchise now. I mean, that's kind of a W in my mind. But, as a lot of you know, and I've talked about it before in a past live stream, Russell T Davies is returning as the showrunner after Christian Bale's exit. And this is... it's good but bad news, because I feel like to some people it's bad news because not all of his content was the toppest tier of the top tier. You know, a lot of people said, oh, well, Russell T Davies is getting a little old. A lot of people felt like so much could be different. He had a lot of strong opinions on Doctor Who, but at the same time, he's done much better than Christian Bale in a lot of people's opinions, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of Christian Bale in general. He's made a lot of statements on social media I don't like. I feel like he's just really mediocre at his job. I'm personally not the biggest fan of his. If he was creating amazing content on screen, you know, I'd give it a pass. But it's like all these negative things piling up just doesn't give me a lot of confidence in Doctor Who. And my kind of generic opinion on this situation when I talked about it initially was, I'm excited to see someone who cared at one point about Doctor Who coming back to Doctor Who. I feel like Christian Bale doesn't give a singular fuck, and that's my biggest problem with him. But that's all we know right now. You know, I've talked about it. There's not really a lot of information on the Russell T Davies situation, but Doctor Who is still consistently dropping in viewership. Again, we're not talking a show that only has a couple 100,000 viewers. Doctor Who has always had higher numbers. It's got a couple million people who do watch it week by week, but numbers are still consistently dropping. And of course, as the weeks go on, when there's more information, once the season's wrapped up, I'll probably end up talking about it again, because I'm sure from the first episode to the last episode, there's gonna be that drop, or that steady drop. But yeah, that's all that I really had to discuss with it. And we're going to move into Eternals in just a minute. This is also going to be a pretty quick topic, but I did want to briefly discuss it, because I have covered Eternals. And I'm going to be honest, there's probably, after this, there's probably not going to be anything to talk about with Eternals, unless we see, like, an actor come out and attack people, or make a big deal out of the movie, or Disney goes, hey, it's going on to Disney Plus tomorrow, which they should just do. They should just do it. Capaldi got screwed? He did. Yeah, he did. But, you know, we can't dwell in the past. So, listen. Doctor Who is just so bad now. Maybe it's Jodie Whittaker. Maybe it's maybe it's Chris. Maybe it's all of them. But let's get them all out and get better people in. I'm really curious to see who the next Doctor's gonna be. Listen, it's still far away. Listen, it's not time to get excited. It's not. We still got a long time to go. But I guess you grasp at anything you can to hope that a franchise won't be completely and utterly fucking annihilated before we get to another season. Kevin Feige. I don't like Kevin Feige all that much. I feel like Kevin Feige... Oh no. Who would you rather choose, guys? I'll put up a poll if I have to. Would you rather have Kevin Feige or Kathleen Kennedy? Who would you rather have? Because I know who I'd kick out. I know who I'd get out of their position, and that'd be Kathleen Kennedy. Kevin Feige's a flip-flopper. Kevin Feige, yeah, listen, he's not the best. But I'd much rather say adios to Kathleen Kennedy. There's nothing redeeming with Kathleen Kennedy. I feel like Kevin Feige, okay, his past work isn't the worst. There's something there. He's got a bit of a better track record, yeah. But Kathleen Kennedy, what does she have? The Force is Female t-shirts? Did they ever officially release those, by the way? I need to buy one. Guys, the Force is clearly female. I mean, obviously, that's gonna save Star Wars. That's not fair, but I see your point. Listen, life isn't fair. Who would you rather get rid of? I'm gonna put it in a poll. Who do you hate more? Kathleen Kennedy? Kevin Feige? Guys, if you don't say you hate Kathleen Kennedy more, you're banned. Feige plays it smart politically. I don't know if I'd say he plays it smart, because he has made, like, some statements before. Like, clearly, we know where his opinions lay. But at least he didn't create a shirt that says the Force is female. Just me? I don't know. I do not like... Who do you hate more? I'm voting. I'll vote in my own poll. It's Kathleen Kennedy. 100%. Okay. Okay. Alright, guys. 13 votes. 100% Kathleen Kennedy. You guys have not failed me. At least I know my audience. My audience knows me. Right? There's not even one for Kevin Feige. Not even one. Not even one. See? Everyone agrees. Kathleen Kennedy is worse. Yeah, honestly, I would this sucks to say, guys. I would rather see Marvel fail than see Star Wars fail. Like, we're talking like the MCU versus like the Star Wars. Let's just say the movies or something. I would rather see like the fall of superheroes instead of the fall of Star Wars. I'm sorry. It's not an easy decision to make, but also I would throw Marvel under the bus for DC. Marvel will always be not number one for me. 20 votes. Who do you hate more? Kathleen Kennedy wins by 100%. I'm ending the poll before we get that 21st vote. But clearly, we all agree. Kathleen Kennedy sucks. Alright, guys. Let's move into the next topic of the evening, which is gonna be Turtles. Perfect. Marvel, right? everyone's favorite. There's not too much to talk about here. And we're not talking some, like, giant, outrageous, abnormal dip in numbers from week 1 to week 2 for Eternals. But I wanted to talk about it because I feel like this is probably going to be the last time I talk about Eternals. It's released, it's come out. We don't know when exactly it's going to be on Disney Plus. Probably before Christmas because they want people to be able to watch it on their vacations. Also, I see Benedict Cumberbatch. But Eternals wins again at the box office, but it's not all good news. So, it says, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe having proven itself a non-stop box office juggernaut over the last 13 years, competing studios have definitely adjusted their release schedules accordingly. When it's time for a new MCU blockbuster to land, the movie calendar metaphorically clears the runway as little else in the industry can contend with the franchise directly. It's true. It's not a lie. Because Marvel is giant. I mean, come on. The MCU is massive. So many movies, so many characters. When an MCU film comes out, usually, okay, it's gonna dominate. If you put maybe like another giant movie against a Marvel film, it'd have a chance. But if we're talking about like, I don't know, fucking new movies like a Red Notice, it's never gonna beat an MCU film. It says it's because of this mentality that Chloe Zhao's Eternals premiered last weekend with no other debut features in wide release, but it's extended to the movie's second Friday to Sunday as well, as it has easily won its sophomore weekend thanks to there not being much out to put up a real fight. This is the thing, is that it's still number one. Okay, Eternals is still in first place. Eternals is still doing great. But there's not a lot of competition against it right now. This weekend, Clifford the Big Red Dog released. And actually on Friday, Clifford did more in sales than Eternals. So that's interesting. But besides that, there's Dune, but Dune came out weeks ago. Dune is not new. No Time to Die came out weeks ago. Not new. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, again, not new. Weeks old. It's not current. It's not like, oh my gosh, just released. We have to all go see it. I definitely think that its weekend gross at $27.5 million could have been beaten if something else that was notable had come out. But of course, nothing came out. So Eternals is still number one. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh man, I was hoping Eternals was gonna fail. Because like I always say, if I don't like something, that's just my opinion. And if you like it, that's awesome. For Eternals, I've seen it. Okay, we saw it Conquered. I clearly saw it in the movie theaters, guys. How else would I have seen it, right? Clearly. It's not out online yet. It's not on Disney Plus yet. So clearly I saw it in theaters. Wink. And like, it wasn't the worst Marvel movie, but it also wasn't the best. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. If it had... I talked about this on Saturday, but if they didn't have race and gender swaps, I'd feel very differently about it. That is my number one problem, is because they took these characters and they twisted them around to fit an agenda and to push a narrative, and I didn't like that. But the content itself that was there, if the movie was an hour longer and we got more depth to the characters, it would have been pretty good. The CGI, gorgeous. But I didn't even think the actors, all of them, were that bad. There were like two that I really didn't like. But we're talking about a movie with tons of different characters all shoved into a 2.5-hour film. It just was, it's weird because there were so many characters to learn, yet they were so fucking boring and basic that it's like there's so many characters and too much there, but also at the same time it's so fucking slow and boring, it just drags on for the 2.5 hours. It's so weird. I just think maybe they could have fleshed out the characters a little bit more, fleshed out the story, made it a little longer. Maybe, I don't know, actually wrote a good story for it. But it says, as you can see, the only new film to be released this past Friday in more than 2,000 theaters was Clifford the Big Red Dog. So again, clearly, it didn't really have that much competition this weekend. It says, and it didn't really put up much of a fight against the latest Marvel Studios blockbuster, earning only about 60% of what Eternals pulled in domestically during its second weekend. But it says Eternals saw its box office totals drop 61% weekend to weekend. Now, this is a big drop. When you hear the total drop 61%, a lot of people instantly go, oh my god, I knew it was gonna fail. A lot of people go, ah, sheesh, knew it was gonna flop. This movie is for suckers. But this is actually pretty standard. Movies drop, you know, all the Marvel fans that really wanted to see it saw it week one. You know, maybe they saw it twice even. It's the only thing that's released last weekend and this weekend. And that's just what happens with movies. Unless we're talking about something that absolutely blows up in popularity. And especially for something with completely brand new characters. Yeah, I mean, this sounds pretty standard. 61% drop weekend to weekend. It's not that crazy of an amount. It says the new blockbuster also succeeded in doing better than Black Widow in its weekend, but going from its 71.3 million opening to 27 million in its second Friday to Sunday calculates to a 61% drop, which isn't a great number, especially when you take into consideration the aforementioned limited competition. That is true. Because there's no competition, you'd expect that to be maybe it dropped 50% instead of like a 61%. But 61% isn't that crazy of a number. Like I said, it says it's certainly dominating the market as it exists right now, but there might be some folk at Marvel Studios pulling their shirt collars concerned about the project's legs. I don't think that Marvel's worried, because I'm going to be honest, I think that they're going to release it in December, maybe like a week or two before Christmas, and I think they kind of view it as they've already made the money that they're going to make on Eternals. Obviously, I'm sure they want to make more. Obviously, every company wants to make as much as possible. But it still didn't make all the money back that they needed to break even on this project. I mean, they needed a lot of money to break even. So, maybe they're hoping once they put it onto Disney Plus, you know, that'll skyrocket numbers. Well, not skyrocket, but that'll help numbers a little bit. It'll be a big draw-in for people, maybe for the holidays. Sometimes we see this around the holidays. Streaming services, their numbers will jump up a little bit because people are like just trying to find something to watch around the holidays with their families and stuff. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens maybe over the next week. But I personally think that Eternals has kind of run its course already. They got out of it what they maybe expected. And now they're going to use it to drum up numbers for Disney Plus. And yeah, that's all that I really had to talk about. Unless you guys want me to talk about Clifford the Big Red Dog, which I'm not doing. So I'm going to the next topic in just a minute. Because the Clifford the Big Red Dog live action is an abomination that should not exist. If I've ever wanted to cancel one movie in my entire life, it would probably be a live action Clifford the Big Red Dog. Did we need that? Who decided that was good? That they were going to spend money? What's Clifford the Big Red Dog? What is the budget on this bitch? Budget. $70 million for a big fucking red dog? Jesus Christ. It made 22 million so far. Oh, they got a long way to go. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Sheesh. Maybe I'll have to go buy a sympathy ticket. Clifford, listen. Who is... I wouldn't even bring a child to see live action Clifford. Eternals needed to be 2 movies. I agree. I do agree. I felt like if they had... The thing is I understand that if they had made it 2 parts with, like, the first part really explaining the characters and their backstories and setting up for part 2, they'd have to release part 2, like, next year. And we know that studios don't do that. I think that that would have been a great thing to do, just like with Dune. I feel like with projects like this, they should do 2 parts and film them basically back to back. Dune, part 2 should be filmed right now, and they should be releasing it next year. Eternals, I think it could have done great as a 2-parter, and part 1 released this year for holiday, part 2 released next year for holiday, have towards the end of the first movie some action, and then the second one be complete action. I think that that would have been a big draw in for people, and I think that when 2 is ready to come out, I think that a lot of people would go back and rewatch number 1. People who didn't give number 1 a chance because they were waiting for both parts would go back to see number 1. They could drum up sales around then, but they didn't do that because they love to shove as much content as possible into a 2.5-hour movie. But yeah. Let me scroll up. Shang-Chi was okay, but the fight scenes could have been faster and better. I was not a fan of Shang-Chi. I didn't see the appeal in it going, you know, all the months leading up to launch. Watched it. Shit-Chi is just, it's not for me. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan. Vera got to the theater in a boat. Oh no, Christopher. Factual. Yes. Yes. Chipmunks. Oh no. The fucking live action chipmunks? What's worse, okay? What would be the worst animal they could make live action? To me, the worst animal they could make live action, I don't know. I'm honestly thinking a hairless cat. Should we watch the new Spidey trailer here on your stream? I am not going to play the Spidey trailer here on the stream because, honestly, I don't want to deal with claims and them striking down videos and all that. It's just not worth it. Because even though it's me commentating over it, it doesn't matter. It could still get flagged automatically by a system. And that's just not it. A blue hedgehog is the worst animal. If you say so. I don't know. Hedgehogs are pretty great. Especially blue ones. Eternals was 2.5 hours long. Yeah. It would have been easy to do 2 90-minute movies instead. Yeah. Then they could have had more time to flesh out the characters. I agree. I think that they should have split it up. And they should have... Listen, there's so much that they could have done that they didn't do. That it's too late now. Can't go back. They've made their decision. Movie's out. There's not much wishing and hoping can do at this point. Maybe part 2 or the second movie they could do better with. Chris Pratt. Yep, we're gonna talk about Chris Pratt. I haven't really covered it. It's not YouTube that strikes it down. It's basically companies' automatic systems. So like Warner Brothers. Like Warner Brothers has an automatic system that can strike things down. Like Disney has systems that can automatically strike things down. And because the trailer had just went up, I'm not able to like edit parts of it during the stream. So yeah, I risk getting like a strike. And that's not very cool. Wild Thornberry's live action soon? No, they're not doing that. AP, listen, you better be joking. You're fucking with me, right? They're not. They're not doing a live action Wild Thornberries. You're not serious, are you? Guys, do you think Chris Pratt is overrated? I've heard a lot of people lately, I don't know, I feel like switch their tune with Chris Pratt. You either love Chris Pratt or you hate Chris Pratt. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people that don't like him. I didn't realize how many people it was. They're not doing a Wild Thornberries live action. I'm getting trolled. They better not be. If they are, I will boycott. Actual boycott. Me? Yeah, I'm not touching that thing with a 20-foot pole. We'll move into Chris Pratt in just a second, guys. Who's ready to talk about Chris Pratt? Look, guys, it's Mario. Don't you guys love Mario? Alright, so I haven't covered the Chris Pratt situation too much here on the channel. And over the past, like, 2 or 3 weeks, he's been under a lot of social media scrutiny. He's been facing a lot of backlash over very simple things. He simply made posts on things like Instagram talking about how much he loved his wife, and people literally tried to cancel him for it. And over the years, a lot of people have tried to cancel Chris Pratt. I don't have any problems with Chris Pratt. I think that he's a pretty decent actor. I think that outside of acting, he has opinions. He makes them known. He's not apologetic for them, and he just kind of says how he feels and then moves on from a situation. He doesn't attack people for having opinions that are different than his, which is something I hate when actors do. But he refused to bend the knee to the woke cancel culture mob and says his Christian faith helped him overcome social media backlash. Now, of course, as soon as someone mentions religion, topics get divisive. Whenever you don't bend the knee to woke cancel culture mobs, they come at you harder than they did previously. And Chris Pratt really doesn't give a singular fuck, let's be honest. People have tried to cancel Chris for years now, and he doesn't care. He just keeps making the movies that he wants to. He keeps going on social media, saying how he feels, moving on. But of course, there's been people who have tried to cancel him. It says Hollywood superstar Chris Pratt recently found himself in the middle of yet another pathetic cancellation attempt after the woke and easily offended cancel culture mob took issue with an Instagram post he shared last week. Now, we've heard some reasons why people have gotten canceled or why individuals have tried to cancel people. Sometimes I definitely see why people are upset and why people are saying, oh, maybe we should cancel this person. I don't support cancel culture. I do not and will not. But there are some truly garbage people out there, and I understand why sometimes people want to cancel individuals. But the reasons why people want to try to cancel Chris Pratt are truly freaking pathetic. The cancel culture mobs will find anything to attach to and try to cancel Chris Pratt over. Like this. Him praising his wife. Who the fuck is trying to cancel a guy for literally simping for his own wife? That's... I don't know what's worse than that. I mean, that is dumb. He said, guys, for real, look at how she's looking at me. I mean, find you someone that gives you a look like that, you know? We met in church. She's given me an amazing life, a gorgeous, healthy daughter. She chews so loudly that sometimes I put in my earbuds to drown it out, but that's love. She helps me with everything, and in return, periodically, I open a jar of pickles. He said, my greatest treasure right next to my Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie card, which is, if you know, is saying a lot. It's her birthday in about 6 weeks, so if I don't get her anything, I'll tell her to look back at this post. Love you, honey. So he basically went on social media, talked about how much he loved his wife, how much he appreciates his wife, how great his wife is. He's making a bunch of jokes. Probably inside jokes about the chewing thing, okay? He's talking about all the amazing things she's done, like giving them, healthy children, great relationship, wholesome content here, right? Like, you look at this for literally anyone on the face of this earth and you're like, aw, that's nice, that's sweet. But of course, not for Chris Pratt. Oh, this sexist, toxic, misogynistic guy. Oh, bringing down his wife because he makes fun of her chewing. Oh, we gotta cancel him. We got to cancel him. What do we have this week on Chris Pratt? Has he made any statements on social media? What can we try to use against him now? Oh, well, he made this post about his wife. Perfect. Call him a sexist. I mean, who thought that this was a cancelable offense in the first place, right? It says the woke mob claimed that Pratt's lauding of her and thanking her for giving him a healthy daughter was disrespectful to both ex-wife Anna Faris and son. How do you come to that conclusion? I don't understand. Because he's saying how great his wife is. That's disrespectful to his ex-wife who divorced him? How does that make sense? It's people always trying to find a reason to cancel individuals. Trying in any way they can to cancel someone like Chris Pratt, because there are so many people out there who dislike Chris Pratt. And it says Pratt's son Jack was born 2 months premature in August of 2012, and this led to a series of health complications. And E-Online reports that Anna Faris had opened up about her son's health struggles in an episode of her podcast in 2018, talking about all the issues that he had, all the heart surgeries he had to undergo, and how difficult that was for them. But it says, unsurprisingly, his recent Instagram post did not bode well with social justice warriors who interpret the message as a dig at her over her inability to give him a healthy son. That is a reach. All he said was, I'm so grateful to my wife, who gave me a healthy daughter, who is a great woman, who's made our family amazing. You know? I don't personally go into things looking for reasons to cancel people, okay? I guess if you're really, really desperate to cancel Chris Pratt and you're looking for something to grasp at, I guess. But who in their right mind looked at this and went, this is how we're gonna spin it? It's disgusting. The people who come up with these conclusions in these situations saying, oh, clearly it's a jab at his ex-wife, it's disgusting. All he did was praise his wife and say, listen, you're a great woman, you've given us a great family, you're awesome, you're amazing. And of course, people are trying to find a way to spin it and go, oh my gosh, he's a terrible person. It says, in the wake of the backlash, the Tomorrow War star took to Instagram to address the criticism he received upon sharing his original post, revealing that he went to bed last night really kind of upset and depressed, but found solace in his Christian faith. If that's the type of guy that he is, that's just the way he wants to live life. If he's Christian, good for him. If he, is which he is, it sounds like, heavily involved with religion, and he loves and appreciates his religion. Good for him. You know, not everyone's that way, and that's okay. Everyone's different. You know, I'm not going on social media attacking Chris Pratt because he's a Christian. It says, I went to bed last night upset and depressed, and I woke up feeling really crappy, and I didn't want to work out. I knew, though, that if I put on my Christian music playlist and I got out in the woods and ran, that I'd feel better, but I just didn't want to, and I did it anyway, and gosh, I was right. It felt amazing. Oh boy, we can attack him for possibly jabbing at his ex-wife, and because of his religion? I mean, this is like a dream situation for cancel culture vultures, right? It's pathetic, and it's disgusting. He's allowed to like who he likes. He's allowed to believe in whatever religion he wants to believe in. He's allowed to praise his wife if he wants to praise his wife. These shouldn't be things that people get canceled over. It says, I got out in the woods, I got my blood pumping, and God was like sat down there right next to me. I don't get emotional that often, but I actually got emotional out in the woods. So, I mean, good for him. If that's how he feels. Is that a problem? If someone wants to believe in a religion, is that a problem? If someone follows a religion, is that a problem? It shouldn't even be a problem that someone votes for someone else. You know, if you look at politics. I don't want to get into politics, but if you voted for Trump, okay? If you voted for Biden, okay? Does that mean we have to be garbage human beings to each other? No. You don't have to be garbage human beings to each other. You don't have to try to cancel someone because they talked about their religion. You don't have to, you know, cancel someone because they praised their wife on social media and one person said, oh my gosh, clearly this is a swipe at his ex-wife. It's pathetic and it's ridiculous. And of course, Chris Pratt doesn't really care all that much. Like he said, you know, it affected him mentally a couple weeks ago when this situation initially happened. But he's never been someone that's given in to outrage. He's never been someone to bend over backwards to please cancel culture vultures. He's never been someone to go out and apologize. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I offended you or I bothered you. He's never bent the knee to cancel culture mobs, and I really respect him for that. I really, really do. I think that he's a good actor. Tomorrow War, well, it was a movie, but I don't think that he's an awful actor. I don't think that he's bad at his job, and I most certainly think that it's pathetic that people are going on social media trying to cancel him simply for talking about his wife and how much he loves her and their family. But that's all that I really had to discuss with that topic. Next, we're gonna move into, do we want to do Cowboy Bebop or Kathleen Kennedy? Let's do Kathleen Kennedy so we can wrap up with Cowboy Bebop reviews. So we'll talk about Kathleen Kennedy next. Why not? Really quickly, guys, if you're enjoying the live stream, make sure to give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. Consider subscribing to the channel. Follow me on social media. Consider becoming a member of the channel via memberships or Dark Titan via Patreon. Also consider donating via Streamlabs. All donations pop up. $3 or more text-to-speech activates. All of the links are in the description. Guys, soon I'm not going to be able to say if you enjoyed, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Because it's not going to matter if people give it a dislike. Because you're not going to be able to see the fucking dislikes anymore. I'm still going to say it. I get to see the dislikes. I think it's so stupid that they're removing the dislikes, though. Or, they're not removing them, they're just hiding them away so that people can't see them. Except for the content creators, even though they said, oh, it's to protect the content creators. It's so dumb. It's like, how are you gonna protect content creators when the only people who can see something are the content creators? Does that make sense to anyone? Because it doesn't to me. But it's 2021, so I guess most stuff doesn't make sense now. I guess that's the way it is. How are you all feeling about the last Airbender casting? I, you know, I'll bring up the image. How about we start there? How about we start there? I don't think... Yeah, the production is happening right now. Alright, production is now underway. They announced a couple more cast members. I don't hate it. I feel like we're definitely gonna have to see how it turns out. I feel like most people are not too angry over the casting compared to something like Cowboy Bebop and One Piece. Because I feel like most of the actors look like they could fit the roles. Most of the actors seem to care about the roles that they're playing. I mean, that sometimes doesn't turn out to be true in the end, and people end up making statements halfway through production. But they all seem like okay choices. I'm gonna look more into them tonight, but I don't really see anything wrong. Mandalorian star. Okay. Night Watch. Not bad. Force Awakens. Well, listen, Force Awakens. That's not... I guess it's Star Wars. Just like The Mandalorian. But not super bad castings in my opinion. At least for the new actors that have been announced. Yeah, they don't really seem like bad choices. Chris Pratt to... Yeah. Chris Pratt for The Last Airbender when? Soon. I mean, Mario. Who else is he playing? I'm surprised they didn't announce Chris Pratt as Master Chief. Honestly, I was waiting. I was so excited. I'm going to look more into the actors probably. But yeah. Every video is going to have that one dislike comment. There's no way around it. They're just appeasing their donors. True. Let me scroll up real quick. Netflix, just stop. Just fucking stop. It's not going to stop anytime soon. Netflix sees a lot of money in taking animes or animated properties, I should say, and turning them into live actions. They see money in it. I mean, lots of notable things. Last Airbender, you know, Cowboy Bebop, One Piece. I'm sure we're going to see plenty more in the future. But alright guys, let's move into the next topic of the evening, which is going to be everyone's favorite woman, the woman of the hour, Kathleen Kennedy. Now, I'm sure you guys already know, I do not like Kathleen Kennedy. I think that she is bad for Star Wars. I have never really been a fan of Kathleen Kennedy's, and I'm not for cancel culture. I never have been. I will not be. But also, I wouldn't feel bad if they decided to get rid of her and they decided to, like, move along. Maybe get someone else in her spot. Maybe switch out people. Maybe, like, a little bit of a flip. Because Kathleen Kennedy, in my opinion, is just... She doesn't care about Star Wars. She's all for her narratives, agendas, force female. But apparently there's a bit of bad news when it comes to Star Wars. Because Kathleen Kennedy's contract has reportedly been renewed for 3 more years. Now, this isn't 100% confirmed. So, of course, as always with rumors, take it with a grain of salt. We'll see in the coming weeks if anything's announced. We'll see if they say anything about it. I'm sure that they won't. But if you're a Star Wars fan, this is a sad, sad day. I love Star Wars. I have loved Star Wars for a very long time. I would love for Star Wars to be great. I'd love for all the content to be amazing. But this isn't very positive. So it says Lucasfilm has reportedly been renewed, or Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm has reportedly been renewed for 3 more years. Collider has the news, and this all comes just days after other murmurs of creative differences with Patty Jenkins over Rogue Squadron's direction. Star Wars has become even bigger has become bigger than ever in the last half-decade. While the sequel trilogy has been much discussed by fans, it undoubtedly kept people coming to the theater. Obviously, with Star Wars, whenever Star Wars content comes out, it's gonna do well. Look at something like Marvel, the MCU. No matter what Marvel content comes out, there's always gonna be people that go and watch it. There's always gonna be people who pay for movie tickets, who pay for things like Disney Plus, who pay to see these films, TV shows, whatever the case may be. There will always be fans. I know for me personally, I try to watch all Star Wars content because I really love Star Wars, but I can recognize that a lot of it has been bad over the past few years. I haven't been a fan of a lot of the Star Wars content releasing, and it's just the way that it goes. You know, I still want to be hopeful. I still try to give things a chance. I still try to be positive. But at the end of the day, a lot of the time, content doesn't turn out to be good. It says, some spectators thought that the fan reaction to the trio of projects would lead to a switch-up of the creative leads for the series. It appears that this isn't the case, as Kathleen Kennedy will remain with Lucasfilm until 2024. As it says, this is a report. This is not 100% confirmed. Disney, Lucasfilm have not come out and said, Kathleen Kennedy has signed a contract with us until 2024. We have no confirmation of this, but it is coming from a couple of different sources saying that, yeah, they don't plan to get rid of her anytime soon. They plan to keep on working with her because they really, really like her, which is definitely disappointing for me to hear. As it says hot off the heels of the creative differences, Lucasfilm has extended its contract with Kathleen Kennedy, and this extension will have Kennedy running Lucasfilm until 2024. There are several Star Wars projects in various stages of development, as well as another Indiana Jones film, and this news will certainly arouse mixed reactions from fans. I know I personally do not like her. There are people out there who like Kathleen Kennedy, who think that she's done a good job, and if you're a fan of hers, good for you. You know, that's okay. If you like her, your opinion might be bad, but it's alright. I have respect the fact that you have a different opinion than mine. You're allowed to, even if it's wrong. But we do know that she's working on a lot of projects, and she's kind of a big name behind a lot of the projects, like Indiana Jones. The Indiana Jones has been a disaster of a situation so far. It definitely has not been going as well as it could. They are paused again filming right now because a crew member was found dead on one of the sets, I believe, which was really, really sad to hear about. But there are a lot of people that like Kathleen Kennedy, and of course there are a lot of people who don't. Again, I'm one of those people that do not like her, but it says Kennedy was the hand-picked successor of Lucasfilm from George Lucas when the studio was acquired. While the Star Wars universe has brought forth a new trilogy, 2 spin-off films, and Disney Plus flagship series The Mandalorian, creative differences have marred several of the projects and further intensified the divisions of the galaxy far, far away's fan base. The most recent issue have come about Jenkins. Her film Rogue Squadron had been announced nearly a year ago at Disney's Investors Day celebration in December. There are a lot of rumors swirling around right now that they've parted ways with Patty Jenkins because of creative differences. They don't want to work with her anymore. There's a lot of rumors that maybe they're going to get someone new for Rogue Squadron. Maybe they're not going to do Rogue Squadron at all anymore. We have no information that's solid and concrete at this point in time about any of this, about Patty Jenkins, about Kathleen Kennedy, except for the fact that Kathleen Kennedy sucks. It says Solo: A Star Wars story production problems are the most well-documented, with Kennedy and Lucasfilm unable to develop a creative cohesion with Phil Lord and Chris Miller. The differences ultimately led to bringing in veteran director Ron Howard, who helped bring home a film that lacked the special Star Wars sheen for fans. Solo was so just bleh. It just was bleh. I don't know how else to describe it. I liked some of the actors in it. Like Emilia Clarke. I don't think that she's a bad actress, but she definitely could not save that movie. It says, given, oh, I skipped a sentence. Sorry. There are several other films in development, namely ones from Taika Waititi and Kevin Feige. Given the nature of Feige and Waititi both playing in the interconnected studio sandbox with Marvel, it's a bit easier to imagine them playing by Kennedy's rules than someone like Jenkins. There are so many Star Wars projects in the works right now that have been announced. I mean, we are talking a crazy amount. There are so many different things they're planning to do with Star Wars, and also look at something like Marvel. They are milking these franchises for all they're worth, and I understand why. They paid a lot for these franchises. They want as much out of them as they can get. They know that things like MCU movies always sell, Star Wars movies always sell, no matter what they are. But as a fan of these franchises, and, you know, in this case, Star Wars specifically, I'm disappointed with what's been going on with Star Wars. Did I think The Mandalorian was awful? No, I don't think The Mandalorian was awful, but at the same time, Mandalorian just wasn't as amazing as I was hoping it was going to be. I know a lot of people are not excited for Season 3 now that they fired Gina Carano. I felt like The Mandalorian had a couple of good episodes each season, but a lot of it was filler. A lot of it were things that, you know, they weren't bad, it's just they were filler, and they were just kind of like, yeah, let's make sure we can get this to 8 episodes, which was disappointing. The Clone Wars was really good, the last season was really good, but going forward, things like the Boba Fett series, we don't know a lot about it right now. I'm not feeling too excited about it. Obi-Wan Kenobi series, I personally am pretty excited for that, because I know that Hayden Christensen's coming back. I'm hoping that that's going to be an amazing time. The Ahsoka series, I'm feeling kind of mixed on right now. There are a lot of projects in the works, though, for Star Wars, and I want them to be good. I really, really do. I want them to come out, and I want them to be fantastic. I want Star Wars to be great again, even though it hasn't been in many, many years. As it says, the lack of Star Wars news this past week's Disney Plus Day made Kennedy's extension all the more interesting. Aside from the Book of Boba Fett and behind-the-scenes stills and arts from the Obi-Wan series, and recognition about others such as Andor, Ahsoka, and The Acolyte were absent, I could give an actual fuck less about The Acolyte. The Acolyte is that Leslie Headland super SJW series where it's like all female Force users, and like it's supposed to be like, oh my gosh, all the main characters are females and they have the Force and they're so special and powerful. Wow, who needs men? And Andor, I do not care. I don't care about Andor. Maybe it'll come out and be great. I don't know. I'll keep my eye on it. But right now, I personally have no excitement or hype about it at all. I did talk about Disney Plus Day in a previous video, so if you want to go and see that, go and check it out. But that's all that is really here. Again, these are rumors. Please take them with a grain of salt. They're not confirmed at all. But if Kathleen Kennedy's contract has been renewed at Lucasfilm, I'm personally disappointed to hear that. I do not think that she's good for Star Wars. I do not think that she is good for Lucasfilm and Disney in general. She is a big name in the industry because she does obviously work at Lucasfilm. So I understand that they don't want to necessarily get rid of her, but I feel like she has caused a lot of damage to Star Wars over the years with her statements and the Force's female BS that she pulled and a lot of the projects that she's working on. And I'm disappointed. I don't like Kathleen Kennedy. I don't think that she's a positive for Lucasfilm or Star Wars. And I was kind of hoping that they'd put that behind them, they'd move forward, putting someone else in the position, and seeing what else they could do with Star Wars. But I guess only time will tell. We have no other information on it right now, and these are only rumors. But I'm sure it's not going to be like officially confirmed. We'll see though. So yeah, we're gonna move on to the final topic in just a minute, which is gonna be Cowboy Bebop. Boy, oh boy. Cowboy Bebop. Live action 2021 coming to a screen near you in 3 days? Yes, in 3 days, on the 19th, it releases. Aren't you all so freaking excited? Well, the critics aren't because they said it's shit. I wish I could say I was surprised, but I'm not. I'm really, really not. Visions is fire. Oh, Star Wars Visions? I didn't think it was bad, but, like, at the same time, did I think it was something that was super amazing? No. Like, I thought that it was unique, and I like the fact that it was unique. Hello, Rotten Tomatoes. But besides that, I personally wasn't really, like, blown away by it. I wasn't like, oh my goodness, I am so looking forward to if they do another, you know, like, season or round of episodes, because it was a season technically, but, like, at the same time they weren't coherent stories. Also, apparently Rotten Tomatoes is down. Glad we had this discussion, guys. Maybe I won't be covering Cowboy Bebop as the final topic of the night, because apparently Rotten Tomatoes is down. Now, we have to raise the question, is Rotten Tomatoes down, or is the Cowboy Bebop page down? Probably just Rotten Tomatoes. Well, guys, we'll sit for a few minutes in chat. Maybe. I wanted to read some of the new reviews, because I did previously do a video on it. So I've already talked about the reviews that were out, so I wanted to read a couple of the newer reviews. But apparently Rotten Tomatoes is not working. Great. Live action Cowboy Bebop, I'll pass. Oh, it's up. Okay. Where can I watch the anime? It's on, I think it's on everything. Funimation. I know that Netflix just put it up. I'm sure you can, oh, yeah, Rotten Tomatoes is very, oh, broken. Oh, wow, much, big sad, much wow. Did anyone see Antlers, by the way? It looks interesting. Apparently Rotten Tomatoes is just down in general, so. Well, guys, it was good knowing you. Glad we had this discussion. This is a great time to self-shill. Guys, if you're enjoying the live stream, give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. Consider donating via Streamlabs. Consider becoming a member of the channel via memberships, or a Dark Titan via Patreon. All of the links are in the description. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Sorry I was not here last week. Guys, this is a perfect time! I have something to show you guys. Okay. Fangirl? No, me? Never. So, guys, last year, right? Oh, just wait. Last year, we're waiting for Rotten Tomatoes. It's perfect time to talk about it. Last year, they released separate collections, a Hobbit 4K collection and a Lord of the Rings 4K DVD collection. And I was going to buy the individual collections. And then they announced that they were coming out with an Ultimate Collector's Edition of the Middle-earth collection, the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings films, right? And oh boy, it was supposed to release on my birthday, and I was very excited. And it was delayed by a couple of weeks. It's here. Now, is it a lot of money? Yes. So this 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray Digital Code Middle-earth 31 disc Ultimate Collector's Edition was $250, which, like, I could buy a Switch, I could buy lots of games, or I could buy the movies again. Look at that shit. Sheesh. I haven't even opened it yet. But apparently it opens and it pulls out and it's like super special, fancy, super special. Here, let me make my camera big because who gives a fuck about Rotten Tomatoes right now? Am I right, guys? Who gives an actual fuck? Oh, by the way, ha ha ha, all the books behind me, special collector's edition, limited collector's edition of Lord of the Rings with token illustrations. Haha, wow. I'm not a simp at all. Look at how fancy. Oh my gosh. Sheesh. Sheesh. Can I get a sheesh? 31 discs. Well, it's not just the 4K, it's also Blu-ray. Right. Okay. Sheesh. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Fancy that is. Yeah, you know, just a casual $250, but it's here. I haven't even opened it yet. Aw, so amazing. I'm not a me token simp. What? Me? How would you get an idea like that? I haven't seen the movies in 4K. They've been out in 4K for a year now, and I haven't seen them in 4K. But that changes starting tomorrow. Yeah, so they did the individual, the Lord of the Rings 4K collection, and then the Hobbit 4K collection. But then I saw that they were doing a fancy box. And I need the fancy box. I haven't even opened it yet. Why 31 discs? Because it's Blu-ray copies and the 4K copies. So it's 2 sets. Jesus Christ. I guess it's my precious. It's my precious. It's so good. But yeah. Listen, who watches theatrical versions of Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, right? I mean, it's extended or nothing. So there's like 25 hours worth of content here. I've got a long way to go. Long way to go. But it's okay. It's life. And Rotten Tomatoes still isn't working, guys, so thanks so much. Yeah, also theatrical and extended versions. There's a lot of discs, and there's posters in here. What does it come with? It comes with 31 discs, include theatrical and extended versions of all 6 films, and commentary. Hobbit trilogy, Lord of the Rings trilogy, exclusive Blu-ray bonus disc includes cast reunions. A cast reunion only put in these collections. A 64-page booklet of costume sketches, photography, and production notes. A collectible slipcases. 7 travel poster art cards. I mean, come on. If you're gonna spend money on anything, it's gonna be this. So I got it. Look at me. So fancy. I haven't even opened it yet, though. Well, guys, Rotten Tomatoes is actually rotten, and it's not working. So, if you guys have any questions to ask, feel free to put them in chat. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have, any topics you'd like me to discuss. But I guess that's gonna kind of be it. Since I primarily just wanted to read newer Rotten Tomato reviews. Or scores. Yeah, reviews. I did previously talk about Cowboy Bebop and the awful reviews in a video. So, of course, if you want to go and, check that out. I did read some reviews there. Apparently tonight, though, we're not reading any more reviews. So, maybe next stream I'll talk more about Cowboy Bebop. But that's all that I really had to talk about tonight, guys. So, if you have any questions, topics, feel free to leave them in chat. But, of course, I had to show you guys my special Middle-earth collection, because this thing's chonky. This thing she's thick. Are you planning to see Ghostbusters Afterlife in theaters? This is a movie... I rewatched Ghostbusters yesterday. I was debating because I don't like going to theaters. I feel like movie theaters are so expensive and the experience just isn't as great as sitting in front of my 70-inch television. But because it's not coming out online, or because it's not coming out on like a service or anything for a while, I'll probably go see Ghostbusters Afterlife in theaters. I have a lot of nostalgia for Ghostbusters. I really like Ghostbusters. Rewatching Ghostbusters is too fun. So yeah. I'm thinking of going to see it in theaters. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop is not getting mixed reviews, it's getting terrible reviews. It's got a 41% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is absolutely terrible. Why should I watch Lord of the Rings extended cuts? Are you saying you'd watch the theatrical releases? Why wouldn't you want like 30 extra minutes worth of content? Not a real Lord of the Rings fan. Gave yourself away. But yeah, Cowboy Bebop's currently getting very bad reviews. Ghostbusters Afterlife is looking good. I was looking at some of like the early reviews and like the plot. I don't know how I feel about the descriptions that outlets are giving it right now. It's like an hour extra? No, I don't think that they ever added quite an hour. Lord of the Rings theatrical versus extended differences. 30 minutes. So if you look at okay, so look at this. Fellowship of the Ring adds 30 minutes. Two Towers adds what's it gonna say? 35 minutes. And Return of the King, I believe, adds like 45 minutes. It's something. It's longer than the other ones, I believe. And then Return of the King. How long is Return of the King? So the theatrical's 3 hours and 20. And it's 4. Okay, so that, yeah, okay, so that one adds 50 more minutes. Okay. So it goes 30 to 40 to 50. Another Goonies movie? They'd screw that one up. I don't know how I don't know how I'd feel about that. I don't think that they'd do right by that. Who knows? I mean, maybe. It all depends on who's working on a project, obviously, but doesn't sound like something that would probably go and be the best. Yeah, Return of the King extended cuts around 4 hours. So much time. So much time. But it's all worth it. It's the experience. Okay? It's not about getting to the end, it's about the journey. Right? Ghostbusters Afterlife is reportedly good. Yeah, I haven't seen too many, like, actual scores. I just read, like, a description of the movie, and the descriptions they give for the characters sound kind of cheesy. I mean, I understand why, but I'll probably see Afterlife in theaters. I'm thinking I will, at least. Do you think that anime and manga can still be saved from internet weirdos? Do you mean, like, SJWs? Is that, like, saving it from politically correct people? Yeah. It's hard because I don't think that anime and manga obviously are big. They're not like small things that can be easily swayed or influenced. But we have heard artists, you know, voice their concerns about political correctness being forced into anime and manga, and I do think that that's worrying. But we haven't heard, like, major companies start shifting mentality and start shifting content. If we see that starting to happen, then it's a much bigger problem. But we haven't seen any of that happen yet. Or heard about any of it happen yet. Yeah, they will do the Goonies. They're doing Lost Boys, I guess. It's hard because there's hope there, right? Like, I try not to be negative about everything and say everything's gonna instantly fail, but we've seen track records of remakes. They're just, it's not good. It's not good. These track records are not positive. I saw Shang-Chi. Why I'd watch that, I don't know. I need to watch the extended cuts of Lord of the Rings. Do it. Very good. 20 out of 10 would recommend. Did you play the Amico? Yes, I did. I had made a tweet about it 2 days ago, or yesterday, and I had briefly talked about it. I did play the Amico. I went to the Boston Amico event on Sunday. You know, I had kind of given some thoughts in the tweet. There's a lot that we still don't know about the console. There's still a lot of information that I wish I knew and I want to learn. But the event itself was fine. I had a good time meeting Tommy and, you know, kind of getting to briefly meet some of the Amico fans. Friends of mine own the Lord of the Rings extended versions. I'm going to have to steal the movies from them. Why steal them when you could buy them yourself? 4K copies that you could own for the low price of, I think the bundles are like $80 each for the physical versions. They're not that much. Maybe 70. Lord of the Rings 4K. Oh, yeah, only $90 at Target. You can get it for $73 off Amazon. That's a steal and a deal. I think the Hobbit ones are like the same price. It's because it's Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Target $85 for the Hobbit. Just a casual $73 on Amazon. It can be yours for the low price of kind of a lot of money, actually. Like, kind of a lot of money. And I'm someone who just spent $250 on the collector's edition of all of them, so I guess look who's talking, right? Do you have a 3D TV? I do not have a 3D TV. I do not care about 3D TVs. Amico? Yes, the Intellivision Amico is a console I've talked about before, because I had Tommy Tellerico, the CEO, on the channel twice. But it is a console that's supposed to be coming out. Well, it was supposed to come out already. It's been delayed 3 times. And, yep. I went to the event, and I played it. If manga goes woke, it'll be the death of it. I don't think it'll be a fast death, because I think that there are a lot of people who will support it for years and years to come. But, yeah, I definitely think that that would be a huge problem and a reason why people would stop supporting the industry, for sure. Yeah, fuck that. I'm using my friend's copies. Could download them offline. Not that I support piracy. I don't know if they're on any services. I think it's funny when you type in Lord of the Rings online. It's funny because it pops up with the MMO. You could buy the movies for $4 on YouTube. They're not 4K, but they're 1080. You could just watch them off YouTube. I think it's to rent for... Yeah. To rent is $4, to buy is $15. So it's still cheaper than... Could be. And you own it on your YouTube account. What just happened? Why did my... That was weird. My dashboard is, like, being really wonky right now. No Doctor Strange 3D at home then, huh? Nope. None of that at my home. 3D TVs were a fad. Yeah, 3D TVs are... not it. I don't know. They sound cool, but they're not supported anymore. I've never heard of anyone actually owning one. Just in Best Buy, looking all expensive. The Lord of the Rings Online MMO isn't bad. Been a few years since I last played it, but it's enjoyable. I remember downloading it and playing it a long time ago. Honestly, I should start it back up and do a stream of it. I should stream Lord of the Rings MMO. I mean, honestly, it's probably my perfect MMO. But alright, you guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do appreciate it. Thank you guys for hanging out the past few hours. Like I had said at the beginning of the stream, I'm going to be streaming again on Thursday, and on Thursday I am going to be streaming some Halo Infinite. I'm very excited that the beta for the multiplayer is out. Thanks, guys, for talking about Lord of the Rings with me, and for looking at this thick collection with me. I haven't opened it yet, but maybe soon, and I'll take some pictures of it. Thank you guys for hanging out. We talked about Kathleen Kennedy, we talked about Chris Pratt, we talked about Eternals, and we talked about Doctor Who. If you enjoyed the stream, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or a supporter via memberships, YouTube memberships. All the links are in the description. Check out Twitter, Minds, BitChute, Odyssey. Join our Discord server. We're very active there, and I do, of course, tag you out when I go live in case YouTube doesn't notify you of the live streams. Check out my past couple videos. I talked about Cowboy Bebop. I talked about Marvel. Or Disney in general. Lots of different things. So go and check out those videos. Give the stream a like, and I'll see you all on Thursday. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and have a fantastic evening, everyone.